Hello, this is Teresa, Craftygrams. Welcome to the craft layer. What I have before me is the next step in the start to finish album project. So the prototype is complete. If very, very wonky, it's complete. I have made my notes on the tweaks I need to make the actual album. So I have black cardstock. I have my this stuff, chipboard to make the actual covers and spine with. And I just realized that I need another piece of this probably because it has three bits to it, so I'll need 3 sheets of the, gosh, I have clearly not had enough inspiration in a mug, motivation in a mug yet today. So this stuff is called chipboard. I need another piece of chipboard, and I will cut that first because I'm going to do this sort of straight to the inside of this. After I cover this, it'll make sense as you see what I do. Anyway, let me get another piece of chipboard, my big ruler, and my blade, and I will cut those to size, including the spines. Right, so let me clear the decks. More chipboard. Maybe if I say it enough times, I'll remember what it's actually called. Probably not, but, I'm hopeful. Okay. So, when I do big pieces like this of the thick stuff, I use it's actually a quilting ruler, I think. This is it. It is from... I think it's a, We Are Makers thing, and it's called the Supreme Ruler. Yeah, there it is, We Are. So this is 18 inches long. It measures, you can use it to measure either from this end 1 to 18, or you can find the center and it measures outwards. So it's a very handy dandy tool. This side is has the metal edge, and this side is not the metal edge. So you can use a roller, what are those? A rotary cutter, or you can use a blade like I use. This big guy. This is my big boy grown-up tool. The only one I have, basically. That's not true. I have household tools. But anyway, yeah, that's the guy I use. So, I put my dimensions away. That's very handy. Gosh. Off to a rip-roaring start here. So, the chipboard, I need 2 pieces that are 8 by 8. So let's get the eyes on, and we shall measure 8 by 8. I'm going to use this leftover piece for the spines. Okay, so one at a time. Can't do these more than one at a time. So I need two 8 by 8s. So, and I do actually measure even though things tend to come out wonky, I do measure. And I feel like I measure very carefully, but you know, it just doesn't always work out like that. So I use the combination of the grid lines on my mat and this thing to try and get my lines straight, my cut lines straight. So 8 is here, and I will use, I don't know how to use these things. I'm assuming they're for when you find the center of something and measure outwards from the center. But anyway, I use them to mark that 8 so I don't have to keep looking for it, and I just caused a minor craft-a-lanch over there. So 8, and I'll make three marks at 8 inches because, I don't know, that's what my dad always did when he was making stuff. He put 3 what he called tick marks, and then somehow or another he felt like that gave him the better chance of having a straighter line. I don't know. It's what my dad did, so it's what I do. That's the way it works. Okay, so there's 3 tick marks, and I will use the sharp edge just because that's what I'm going to be cutting on. And again, I'm going to line it up with the mat, have the chipboard as straight as I can on the mat, and then have this as straight as I can on the mat. Line up my 3 pencil marks and go. I'm going to cut the whole thing at 8 inches. Sorry if I'm loud, I'm right close to the microphone. And what I'm going to do is measure all 3 pieces first before I cut. So now I have that at 8 inches this way. Now I need it 8 inches from here, which means I have to turn my mat because I don't have room to place this big guy, you know, at 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to start up here and move over a little bit. So I'm not always going to be in the center of the whatever this is. My little guy moved. 1. Yeah, I'm trying to be very precise because, you know, I'm not perfect, but I like to get it right, as close to perfect as I can, because again, this is the foundation, the groundwork, and you know, that needs to be as correct as possible or else the whole thing falls apart. Doesn't fall apart, but you know, it goes wonky from there. And I like to try my very best to not start off wonky. So there we go. 8 by 8. 8 by 8. See, one of my pencil marks was off. That's why Dad said use 3. 2 of them are bound to be correct, I guess. I guess that was the thought process. Now, I'm going to do it this way. That's 8 inches. And that's 8. 8 inches. Yeah, I know I'm off whatever, off the grid. I'm off the grid. But it's okay. This is the very boring part, but boring parts are necessary too. I would love to have a magnetic mat for when I do these kinds of things. I just think it would make my life a bit easier. Right, so we did 8 inches that way. Now we're going to do 8 inches this way. And when I come to cut these pieces, I will, or before I put them together, I will make sure that they are all the same height from top to bottom, so that, you know, even if my calculations were not exactly precisely correct, then I'll just shave off as required. So, and I can't see that third, there it is. I was gonna say, I can't see that third pencil mark. But see, this is where, you know, that slightest little bit of measurement would come off, because I just dropped my lid. It's a lot of it is because of the placement of the pencil tip. You know, if I even just put that pencil this way on one of them and this way on another one, that makes a difference in the measurement. So it's, you know, even the tiniest things matter. And I don't see another pencil. Oh, yes, I do. Let's see if I can get it out of the mixture. There we go. Okay. And I'll use the first piece that I measured for all of these, or for the other two, so that eliminates another possible snafu. Okay, so I know that one has to be something by 8. So it's 7.5 by 8. So I'm gonna do this 8-inch measurement along the one side. All right, now 7.5. Let me turn this around where I can see. Okay. So 7.5 is right there. Dad said so. Okay. Draw that line. There we go. All right. Don't put that away. I need that to cut. All right. Time for a little bit of motivation. Motivation in a mug. Okay. Where is my grown-up adult cutty thing? I am trying to put this on here using its own grid lines. And maybe oh, great. Get it all in place and then have to move my hands because I didn't open my blade yet. Okay, so slow, steady pressure. And never move the ruler until your piece is free. There we go. That's one done. I am going to get my ugly mat and put it under there. And it is ugly. This is the other side of it. It's ugly. Right. See, I didn't even cut that straight after all of that. There's a gap there. Okay. Thankfully, that looks like it's going to be on the waist piece. Fascinating viewing, I know. Still feels like there's something right there. There it went. Yep. Okay, 2 more to go. Oh, wait. Obviously, fast forwarding through this bit is an option. Will not hurt my feelings because I don't know that you did it. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, this cutting mat, the ugly cutting mat, I tried to clean off the glue that I had on it, that had accumulated on it, with alcohol, and it took the grid marks and the lettering off of the mat and smeared it everywhere, so yeah. Oh, well, that one cuts so much easier. I have all these little offcuts I should do something with, like make mini books with. Oh, it slipped. Like I should get some sketchbooks and cut that into paper pages, signatures, what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think that would be cute. There we go. All right, so that's an 8x8. One more 8x8, and then we are on to the spines. Sorry, it's not over yet, kids. The torture continues. So I realize that I'm off at this end, the top, for some reason. So what I'm concentrating on is getting this part as straight as I possibly can. Excuse the sniffles. Okay. Boom. Okay, now the spines have to be obviously 8 inches long by 1 1/4 and 1 inch. So cut this off at 8 inches. The inch marks are in gold on this, which is not a color that shows up as obviously as I would like for it to. Like, to me, the turquoise marks show up much easier than the gold ones do. So we are makers, people, if you're listening, because I know they watch my every video. Yeah, some darker inch marks would be greatly appreciated in future. Thanks. Oh, let's not use that side. Well, we're not actually cutting it, so it wouldn't make much difference, but still, yeah. Now we are cutting. I don't know why I had to draw it first, but I did. Dad said so. Okay, so that's 8 inches. Now I need a 1 and a 1 1/4. So I'm going to measure them both at once. I think I can math that much. So 1 and 1 1/4. drink it before it gets too cold, right? One and 1 1/4. One and 1 1/4. Okay. Excuse the sniffles. I don't know what's going on? It's the weather changes. Freezing cold, and now we're at tolerable, and then it'll be down to freezing cold again tonight. It's just really messes with the system. Well, it messes with my system anyway, so really and truly that's pretty much the only one I'm concerned about. So yeah. Wow, I was really off on those middle marks. It's okay. That's why you do 3, right, Dad? Right. Okie dokie. That means that one's done. Sorry if the top of my head's getting in the frame. Yay. That bit's done. Let me put my scrap pieces away. Look, all of that. It's okay. I will find other uses, I am sure. Right. Put my big guy away. Close my blade carefully. And there are some rough edges on these, which I will sand off. Sand off. Not that they're going to cut anything, but it's just easier to work with nice clean edges. Right, okay, here's what we do now before I start sanding too much. Look at that. None of them are the same height. And you all watched me. You all watched me. And how carefully I thought I measured. So, what we do now is, since this one's just a little high on this end, well, it's very low on this end. What we do now is cry for a minute. And that one's supposed to be shorter this way. Gosh, the corners, man. I don't know why I'm worried about the corners when the sides are so wonkalicious. Okay, so everything is being... Sorry, I will not sing. I will not sing. The lowest edge is here. So everything needs to be brought down to that. Let's throw these in the mix just for grins and giggles. And yeah, look, those wee bits are perfect. But since that one is not, we will have to chop everything down. This is crafting reality, folks. Crafting reality. So what we do now is get the old pencil out, mark this, and mark this. Well, this is just barely a... That one I might be able to just sand down, which it looks like it could use anyway. It's rather burry. I do like to sand all the cut lines just because, I don't know why. It just makes it a I don't know, a less harsh edge. I don't know, kids. I don't know why I do what I do. I just do what my brain tells me. Most of the time it's safer that way. So, yeah, that just, I don't know. It just feels nicer. And, you know, paper is, I mean, it is paper after all, and it does have the, you know, what is it called? There's a, you know, a way to do things, cut and fold things with the grain is a lot easier than against the grain. So one of these cuts is definitely against the grain, which is almost always the more difficult side to cut. So let us see what that did. This is the one I just sanded. It's better, but it's not great. Okay, so I am going to have to cut some more straighter lines. And I will clamp them together to draw the cut lines, and they will be really, really tiny cut lines, which is difficult to do. Oops. Ah. I don't know where that piece went. A piece of the lead just popped off the end of my pencil and I don't see it. So. What happened to it? Here it is. Gosh. That's going to I mean, it's barely a pencil width. Right, so all right, I am going to ponder. Let's see if I can just, what I'm afraid of now is getting them completely not straight, like making them more off straight than they are now. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see what we can do with just the middle ruler. I don't want to cut, obviously, too much off of these because then they won't you know, the insides won't fit inside of it, if that makes sense, because there's only an 1/8 of an inch difference between the inside pages and the cover. So that is my next concern. Let me take a break, figure out what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's what I've come up with. I sanded the edges and sides and all of that, and this is what I got. It's not perfect, but I'm not a perfect person, and it's pretty darned good. I just did some aggressive, very aggressive sanding, and it seems to have worked out okay. Now, the next step is putting this together into a cover. So this is the third piece. Masking tape, vital for this operation. The smaller spine goes to the last piece and the middle piece, and then the larger spine goes in between the first two, the front and the middle. Okie dokie. So I have my big boy ruler back, just to use it as to line everything up against while I, you know, attach it to its neighbor. Once again, this is a large project, so I may be out of frame for some of it, but I will do my level best to keep it in the center. Okay. So, first things first, we get tape. I don't know why I always use masking tape. Probably because everybody else does. So, that's what I'm using. Right. So, I take, let me put the back pieces in the middle, over to the side, because right now we're just working on these two. All right. So, I try to put the tape like as straight as possible, obviously, and then also trying to leave enough room free to securely tape this guy. Right, so I'm going to turn it over, line the top up with my big boy ruler, and then this is a little trick I saw Louise Heinzel do. She took 2 pieces of this stuff. The name's gone again. Really? Chipboard. Okay. Glued them together. She took 2 pieces of the chipboard, glued it together so that it is obviously twice the width of the chipboard, and that she uses as the distancer between the pieces, if that makes any sense. I mean, you can see rather than, it's easier to see than to put into words, right? Right. And then get this piece to go down properly. And that's too high up. Oi! Too high up still. Gosh. You know, people who do bookbinding, they sure make this look easier than it actually is. Right. There. Sheesh. There you go. Although I've been storing it standing up and I see that it's got a bit of a curve to it, so I maybe have to store it laying down flat. Okay, so pull these bits up gently because you have to put the tape into that seam. I don't know what to call it. Hinge. It's a hinge. We'll call it a hinge. So that it doesn't, it works with the action of the hinge rather than against it. Right? Boom. Sweet. And then just complete that with another piece of good old cheap generic masking tape. And again, I'm going to put it on one side and not the other until I get it nice and conformed to the shape of that hinge. I don't know what this tool is called. I mean, it came with my regular bone folder, but I seem to use it a lot more than my regular bone folder in doing this kind of stuff. Of course, the bone folder I use for, you know, folding paper, creasing paper nice and precisely, but this one, it just seems to, I don't know, just seems to work because this has a nice thinnish point. I don't know, personal preferences, I'm sure, what goes into it all. All right, I'm going to turn this back over, put another piece of tape, good old-fashioned hardware store tape. And again, trying to put it straight, leave enough of an overlap for the next piece to come in and join in the fun, which will be this middle piece. Okay, once again with the handy dandy spacing tool. It's just, none of this is easy to do against the tape, but I like this better because it, I don't know, it just gives me a better handle on getting it straight and even and all of those things. Which it is not. Yeah. together. Okay. And repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat, right? Didn't leave myself much on this go round, did I? Okay. Fill in the gap. Ish. I'm getting really chintzy with my tape there for some reason. It's okay. It is okay. Because this is all going to be covered with other stuff. Right. I like it. Yes. Sorry, I get excited when things work because as you can see from the previous segment, things very often do not work out for me. So I'm going to recenter this in just a second. Okay. There's that tape there. Turn it over. I'm going to shut that guy up a little bit. And move this up. Here's my wee hinge. My spacer board. And in. Ay, ay, ay. Like so. Gimme. Okay. Where'd I put my doohickey? Because that is the official name of this tool. Doohickey. I don't know what it really is. Oopsie. Oh well. That's just going to be wonky there. That's all right, because wonky is wonderful. Okay. Once more across the abyss. Okay, it's not really an abyss, but you know what I mean. Across the gap. Mind the gap. If you've ever been to England, you know. Yeah, let that stick down before I made it conform to my will. Sorry, I get a little bit of a power trip. The only thing I have any control over is paper and tape, and even that only marginally. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting this tape to conform, aren't I? It's okay. The important thing is it hinges. That's very exciting to me. I mean, it doesn't take much, right? Okay, one more time. Flip. Sunny side up. That's not. I got all kinds of excited about that. Yay! I guess it's going to stay. It's not straight. Grr. I was not paying attention. That makes me sad. Okay. Oh. My spacey tool. Oopsie. Don't break it. Piece of tape, like so. Then I think I'm going to call this video done because I am having a little trouble and I need to back away from it and come at it afresh. I don't really know how to do the next segment on camera anyway because it's covering this with a giant piece of, well, it's the center of a wrapping paper roll. They used to be just giant tubes, but now they're giant pieces of paper that come unfolded once you use the last bit of wrapping paper. And it's just really, really giant. Like, it is long enough to cover that whole thing, and I would not be able to get that on camera here, and I don't have a camera mount for the work table on the other side of the room behind me. So that is going to be that for today. Thank you for joining me once again on the struggle bus. Oh my goodness. So there's our very basic frame completed. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of start to finish on our photo album, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. Thanks for watching. Craft and enjoy, y'all. Bye.